All right, beautiful people. So today we're talking about multiplying fractions, chapter 2.1, and we're going to ask ourselves, how do we multiply fractions? So the first thing I want us to do is remember a few vocab terms. So I'm going to draw a fraction. Let's do 2/3. Okay. On the top of 2/3, or in the numerator spot, this is called the numerator. Okay, the numerator is the part, or it's the amount of pieces that are shaded, if you're thinking about that. All right, and then this bottom number, the number on the bottom, is called the denominator. The denominator is the total number that the whole is broken into. Okay, so now we've relabeled what a fraction is using those key terms. So we're going to start with how do we multiply fractions? So I'm going to start with an example. Example 1. Okay, example 1, multiplying fractions. Let's do 1/4 or 1/4 times 1/2. Okay, so this question is basically saying, if I have a quarter of something, what's a half of that? What is a half of a quarter? Okay, or what is a quarter of a half? So we're going to do some multiplication straight across. We're going to do, when you multiply fractions, you just multiply straight across. So I'm going to make a little note in the corner. Multiplying fractions with the numerator to numerator and the denominator and denominator. Okay, so I'm going to start with the top, 1 times 1, and that becomes our new numerator from the product. And then I'm going to do in the denominator 4 times 2, and that becomes our new denominator, so 1/8. So if I were to ask you, what is a quarter of a half, it would be 1/8. 1/8 is a quarter of a half. Now notice, because a quarter is less than a whole, less than 1, and a half is also less than 1, their product is going to be less than either of the original numbers. So this is smaller than a half or a quarter. In fact, it's half of a quarter. So I'm going to draw a diagram. Okay, I've drawn the diagram, and I've started by shading in 1/2. Okay. Now, a quarter of a half means break that half into quarters. So I'm going to do that in a different color. I'm going to break the half into quarters. So I'm going to break it up into 4 pieces. And then it says 1/4 of that. So then I'm going to shade in just one of those quarters. Okay. Now you can't tell all the way what this one portion is. Okay, so this is 1/4 of 1/2. Okay, until I start drawing the lines on the other side, because if I broke 1/2 into quarters, I should break the other half into quarters. And now we can tell that 1/4 of 1/2 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1/8. Okay, so the diagram helps us see that when we multiply those two together, we get 1/8. Okay, so I'm going to write some triads. I want you to try a few. All right, the 2 triads that I'm giving you are 1/3 times 1/5 and 2/3 times 3/4. Okay, remember, you multiply the numerator straight across and the denominator straight across. So pause this video, take a minute and try those, and then I'll go over them. Okay, you should be back because you've paused the video and you've tried these problems. So I'm going to remember for the first one, I'm going to multiply straight across for the numerator. 1 times 1, and that becomes my new numerator, is 1. Then I'm going to multiply straight across for the denominator also. 3 times 5, which becomes 15. So this question that's saying, what is 1/3 of 1/5, is actually 1/15. So 1/3 of 1/5 is 1/15. That's my answer here. Okay, same idea over here for this one. I'm going to multiply the numerators together. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. So 6/12 is 2/3 of 3/4. This one can be reduced to 1/2. And I'll talk about reduction in the next video.